All right. Allegedly, we're live. Let's find out. I don't know. Hello, everybody. If you can see me and preferably hear me, sing out. It is bang on 7 o'clock. Look at us. We are very much on time. Or possibly early. I don't know. Whichever. It's all good. Hi. Welcome to the stream. It's been a while. I think the last time I did one of these was happy 400,000 subscribers, and now we're at 465,000. It's quite a lot. Quite a lot of people. Hello, welcome. Do. You can see and hear me. Fantastic. You can't bribe me to sing on a live stream. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't try. I'm just saying that it's not going to work because this is a very sensitive microphone, which I have very precisely set up so that you can hear me when I speak. If you want me to sing, I'd have to leave the room or like fiddle with the settings. And I really don't want to do that because it has been known for me to do live streams with patrons. Hello, everybody. It is good to see you. It has been known for me to do live streams with patrons where they can only have sound in one headphone because I've messed up something I did on the Scarlet. So if it's working and you can hear me in both of your ears, then we're not going to mess with that. Nonetheless, we are going to answer some questions from patrons and channel members. Possibly we're going to answer some from the general chat. What is your singing range? Soprano, generally. Looks more like the protagonist to me. Yes, it's very confusing. Like, normally I look like Caroline but sound like Rosamund. So, what is your favorite thing about the fantasy series? Is an excellent question. So I'm just going to answer that one before we get into it because I absolutely love how much everybody loves it. I love how invested people are. I love that I put up a video and people are like, no, what happens next? You must tell us. It makes me very happy that you enjoy the story, and it makes me happy that I can continue to write it, basically. It's 5 a.m. here. Well, you are very welcome. Either you've stayed up very late, or I hope that you've got up really early instead, because, we are very invested. Yes. Are you a sci-fi fan as well? To be honest, I'm not really that much of a fantasy fan. Not to say that I don't like fantasy, just some of it, but I prefer character-driven whatever. So I'll read sci-fi, I'll read fantasy, I'll read, urban fantasy, I'll read whatever. As long as it's not too long and it's, I like the characters, then, it's all good. How much has the story gotten away from you like it has from Caroline? It's 7 at night in England. Yes, I am also in England, so happy 7 at night to you. The thing with the masquerade that Rosamund runs out on the masquerade, that's not exactly what happened when I tried to write it. I think I was always planning on having her run out on the masquerade, and this may hurt a little because it definitely hurt me. Originally, I was going to have her suddenly realize all the things that she thinks she's realized while she's dancing with Leo, and then Captain Collins is very worried about you and asks if you would like a glass of water or to sit down or something, and she's like, I need to go and lie down, can you take me? And then she pulls a sword on him, and then she threatens him, and then we have some things which you will subsequently find out. But I realized I even did some filming for that, and then I realized that she would never do that. You stole the dance scene from us. I know, I'm so sorry, but I realize that if she has realized this, she's not gonna muck about with any of this other stuff. She's going to defer responsibility of everything else but her actual priority, which is her children. It's like, she thinks that Leo is a traitor. She thinks that Leo is doing some stuff. So she palms off that problem onto the highest authority that she can find, which is King Roland, and she goes and sorts out her own stuff because that is her priority. Um, now I want Caroline to get with her hot enemy. I mean Leo. I mean Captain Collins. Um, this very much has the energy of a fanfic that the first chapter note says this should just be a few chapters and then it proceeds to be like 60k words long. Yeah, that's basically that's very much what happened. Why would you ask that? What did you ask, Valdegast? Oh, right, about mermaids. Never mind. Leo is hot. I love how invested people are in Leo, and it's wonderful to me, and also very, very strange. Thank you for the super chat. When someone can use the word sanguine correctly in a sentence, they have to write a book. I believe it is a law. Well, it's probably like one of those laws that you have to practice your longbow for an hour every Sunday or whatever. Leo is a beautiful boy. You've seen his hand and like his shoulder, and it fascinates me that it's like I really like Leo, but I spend a lot of time with him as a character, as it were, trying to figure out what he's doing, and but yeah, it's fun. Anyway, I need a drink of water, which I'm going to take from, look, this is one of the reasons that I was going to have a live stream. Originally it was going to be on Monday, but look, it's a mug and it says "Just Stab Me Now." This is called the panoramic mug. You can get one that just says "Just Stab Me Now" on like one side, but I was like, no, I want it to be all the way around. Having got it, I like it. It's great, and it says it's dishwasher safe. I have not stress tested that, but it's very nice, and I like it, and would recommend. Although, possibly you might want to wait for me to run it through the dishwasher and see what happens. Anyway, but yes, merch. We have merch now. I am going to, okay, you might have to give me a second here. I'm really sorry. But I'm going to attempt to drop the link to the spread shop thing. So if you're wondering, why do they ship from the UK? They don't. They ship from the US, or they ship from Germany, depending on where you are. Right. There we go. We need merch with pictures of the characters in an ensemble. That's just two pictures of me and a shadow, though. Though who knows? Anyway. Hot enemy mug. We know about Leo when we will learn more about the childhood friend. That is actually a question that we're going to get to. So, I'm going to stop reading the chat for a second because reasons. I multitask poorly, and we're going to answer some questions. Oh, and then I'm going to show you my hoodie, but like the microphone's in the way at the minute. So let's answer some questions and then do that. So from Patreon, we had a question which was, what's Robin's backstory? And I can't read you the rest of the question because it would tell you something that you don't know unless you have seen the whole series. Or the whole of series 2, at least. So I can't answer that question for people who have seen the whole series, and I also can't answer it. I can't even read it out for people who haven't seen it, so sorry, I can't answer that one. Less spoilerific question, will we see any book review videos in the future? Yes, you will. You will see one. There will be at least one sometime next year, but I will tell you more about it when it is actually going to happen. I have mostly, at the moment, been reading historical romances, I think they're called. Basically, I went on Kindle and went, what can I get for free? What can I get for free that is tagged historical romance that I can read? Because I don't actually read romance novels, really. I haven't, like when I was a teenager, I read like a fair number of Christian romance novels. Most of them were set in the modern day, though. Rather than being historical ones, but I haven't really read a lot of romance novels, so I'm basically like this. The entire Fantasy Heroine series basically comes entirely out of my head, fan fiction, and what I think other people write about. So yeah, I've been reading those. It's been an education. Put it like that. Looking for the ye oldie bodice rippers. Yeah. There we go. Legolas, he's hot. See. One of my initial kind of reference points for what Leo looked like in terms of aesthetic was the guy who looks like Legolas, who plays Wickham in the 2005 version of Pride and Prejudice. My husband affectionately calls it Grime and Prejudice because everything's dirty all the time. That's not to say that we don't like it. I do, and he does as well. But, you know, this is how we differentiate it from the BBC miniseries. Who do you ship Rosamund with? Well, that would be telling, would it not? Bye, Emily. Enjoy your dinner. Sarah J. Maas, Crown of Thorns and Roses. Is it Crown of? Okay. Have you considered writing Rosamund's story as a book? Yes, but it's basically, that's a terrible idea right now, because if I try and write long form stuff, then my brain freezes and I don't know what happens next. So I have drafted Series 3 and Series 4 of the Fantasy Heroine series, and that brings it to a conclusion. Not a conclusion that you can't go on from and maybe have more after that, but it's like, if I get there and I suddenly go, I don't know what happens now, that's okay. Like, there's a sort of natural stopping point there. You're a pantser, not a plotter. Yeah, probably. I mean, I kind of can't plot. I know where I need to get to. And I have a couple of, like, stops along the way, but, you know, what do we do? Let's see. An author fighting with her character is the best framing device ever. Thank you. I really enjoy it because it basically reminds me of 2002 fanfiction.net. So, you know, I joined fanfiction.net on the 1st of January in the year 2000. And I kind of miss it. You know, it's not really the same anymore because I am an entirely different person, because I have lived 22 extra years. I've lived like an entire, you know, young adult lifetime in the interim. But anyway, more spoilerific question. What is Captain Collins' full first name? Leonidas Leonard Leopold, inquiring cheesemongers want to know. I believe it is Leopold, but only his mother calls him that. So that is the answer to that one. That is not a spoiler, so you're good to go. Did you see the recent Lord of the Rings spin-off? Your thoughts on the armor would be good. So, I may at some point, as part of a longer video where I review a bunch of different kinds of armor, I may throw in some sets from Rings of Power. I have not seen Rings of Power, and I will not. Not because I am a Tolkien purist, not because I think it's whatever, it's just because I aggressively don't care about it now. Like, everyone keeps telling me about it, either because they really like it, or because they really hate it, or because somebody has a strong opinion about it. I'm like, I don't care. And that's not, you know, personal to the person who's telling me about it. Obviously, you know, I mean no offense. But, like, it was a bit like Steven Universe or My Little Pony or whatever. If you have lots of people telling you need to watch it, the more I am likely to resist. Especially if it's a TV show. If it's a movie, I'm like, if I waste 2 hours of my life on this, then that's 2 hours I'm not going to get back. But it's only 2 hours. If you watch a TV show, that's a lot of time that you might have wasted. There we go. Rings of Power is an aggressively okay show. Well, fair enough then. Good stuff. Let's see, what was the next question? Oh, there was a related question from a channel member, which was, how do you feel about the Irish accents in Rings of Power? And the thing is, I can no longer answer this question, even if I listen to it. Like, if it's particularly bad, it might, you know, you might sort of elucidate. No, not elucidate. What's the word? You might get me to wince if it's particularly bad. But I have not lived in Ireland or Northern Ireland for so long now that I can no longer tell what a realistic accent sounds like. I go back and I listen to things which are by the Hole in the Wall gang. There's a show called Give My Head Peace, which when I was a teenager I thought was the funniest thing ever. I listened to it, I'm like, people don't sound like that, do they? And then I go home and everyone sounds like that, and I'm like, oh, it's me. It's that Taylor Swift song thing, you know, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. I avoided Jurassic Park for 20 years because of that same feeling. That's fair. Like, the thing is, I have read The Fellowship of the Ring. I have attempted to read and never finished The Two Towers about 5 times. I get like halfway through and I'm like, nothing is happening, and I am bored and I give up. Having watched the movies, which were fine, I enjoyed, okay, I read The Return of the King and I was like, this one I like. There we go. But, you know, I fully appreciate Tolkien's, influence on the fantasy genre and like how he tabletop RPGs, basically, all of that stuff. I appreciate his cultural impact. I just don't enjoy the books very much. How will Caroline retaliate against Rosamund for ruining her masquerade chapter? Well, I don't think she will, honestly. She will try and get the back onto her own track, because that's what they do. But she will try and get the plot back on track, and she is going to get her, because of the nature of the things that Rosamund has to do. She's going to a specific place, right? She's going home, which means she has to take a specific route to get there. So some stuff is going to happen because she was always going to have to go home. But it's getting away from Caroline a little bit, and I think she's learning to go with it for the moment, but we'll see. I just went through some of Hey It's Stuart's videos. Oh, right, yes, okay. So somebody on TikTok was like, Hey It's Stuart would be great at as Leo, and a couple of people on YouTube have been like, he would be fantastic. And I looked him up on TikTok, and I realized that I've seen a couple of his videos before, but for the first time today, probably because I specifically went to his TikTok and looked up a couple of his videos, I actually got a video in which he speaks. And that sounds really bad, but like his most popular videos are like those ones where you suddenly don't have a shirt on and there's a ring light or something, or where you mime what somebody else is saying, because TikTok. I was like, I never knew what he sounded like. Anyway, he's a very handsome chap, so it, like, as a fan cast for Leo, I'm very happy with that. On your travels, you're ambushed by a roving band of masquerade event agents. Oh dear. Oh yes, so someone just asked, were King Roland and Robin played by Mannequin Skywalker, which is also a question that was asked by a patron, which is the next one on my list, actually. Leo and Robin, the mysterious hand and the guy in what is basically a centurion's outfit. I'm like, it's the fantasy world equivalent of a centurion's outfit, because it's a party, so he's in costume. Yeah. They were both played by a real person, who played them on the understanding that they would not be recognizable. And I was like, that's fine, because first of all, you have to play 2 different people, and second of all, if I actually ever managed to get someone to collaborate as Leo or Robin, then it doesn't really matter what it doesn't really matter what they look like. And in fact, even if they look completely different or have a completely different skin tone or whatever, then you can just have a line from Caroline like, no, I saw some fan art and decided that I really liked it, and so that's what he looks like now. Did the name Rosamund come from BBC Sherlock? No. Don't remember any Rosamunds in BBC Sherlock, but it's been a long time. It's I wanted to sort of, I think it's an Old English sort of name. Also, it reminds me of Rosamund Pike, and I was like, that's a great fancy heroine name, because it sounds kind of old-fashioned, but in a vague kind of way. And also, like, Rosamund Pike is, like, really, really beautiful, so, and it's a really nice name, so... I need a new matcha. Fair enough. Let's see. Did the cover artist get the memo after all? I hope so. I texted Zach Evans to be the cover. I was like, hey, would you mind looking confused for like 2 seconds in one of my videos? He was like, sure. Anyway, so Leo and Robin were both played by a real life person, which confused a lot of people because, as some of you astutely guessed, King Roland was played by Mannequin Skywalker in a cloak and a helmet. And that's why the king never removes it. It's like, the king never removed his mask. That's very suspicious. It's like, yeah, there's no head under there. But you know what? We'll call it a plot point. It's fine. I have just seen a question by Backyard Rebel, and I'm not going to answer that question because if you have seen the list of episode titles, then you will know that is coming up very soon. Anyway, Rosamund also sounds a bit like Edmund. Yes, well, her son is called Edmund, by vote. So I had Hugo, Felix, and Edmund as options, and Edmund won. So I went, great. That I like, Rosamund, Edmund. They gave him half of her name. Also, I just like the name Edmund. I like the Chronicles of Narnia. That was a past tense. I like the Chronicles of Narnia. And so I was like, Hugo Hawkhurst is a great name, but a little bit tricky to say, so for someone who's already dead, it's great because it sounds excellent. It's easy to remember, but how many episodes in season 2? 12. Same as season 1. Headless King rises. Will her children ever make an appearance? Maybe. Ads. Interesting. I did not put them there, so that's kind of random. Will her children ever make an appearance? Probably. It's more likely that the son makes an appearance than the daughter, because I don't know many 11-year-old girls, but I know, some teenage boys. But we'll see. Why did you name yourself Ursa in older videos? Because I was Sursum Ursa, which means bear up. Not in that order, because Sursum Corda in Latin is lift up your hearts. So Sursum Ursa is obviously lift up your bears. And because my surname is Bear Up, it's like, it was a thing, Next question was, did you get into acting first or stage combat? Did stage combat lead you into acting? And the answer to that question is that I have been acting since I was a tiny little person. Well, not a tiny little person, I was a very dramatic child. I can't see myself. Am I in the frame? Okay, yes, I am. Great. I was a very dramatic child, and in secondary school in particular, I was very much like the drama club kid. So then I didn't do much acting for a while, and then I started doing stage combat and was like, acting! I love this! I remember! Great! So then, it was like, oh, you get to like pretend to fight people, but also acting. And then I discovered that I don't want to be a professional actor. I just want to do my own acting, which I make up myself because it's more fun. How much baking did you do to bribe your husband to play Leo and Robin? Well, my daughter and I did make cupcakes. So like chocolate cupcakes, which were pretty good, if I do say so myself. So, tell the truth, Robin was inspired by the Disney Robin Hood. No, actually. Robin, he had 4 different names, but then instead of putting the name which I had chosen, I kept writing Robin. Robin is named after Robin Ellicott, who is a female Robin, but that's not really the point. Your acting is superb, thank you. Thank you. Are you less dramatic now? No, in absolutely no way. How did you come up with the fantasy heroine? She appeared in my head at 4:30 in the morning. Like I woke up one morning and it was 4:30 and I thought, I don't have to get up yet. That's pretty good. I'm just gonna lie here. Amazing. And then I thought, it'd be really funny if there was like, my initial kind of thing for it was like a casting director or a producer of a film. So that's why you have the character who is named the administrator in the long version, who I have kind of had to retcon into another part of Caroline's personality, basically. But the idea was, the casting director / producer is like, all right, where is our fantasy heroine? Can you do stuff? And it turns out, and the writer of this thing, or the producer or casting director, doesn't know anything about swords or anything else. Hang on. Oh dear. Sorry, I just tried to, there was a message which got held. Sometimes YouTube does this. Also, slow mode is on. And I've completely forgotten what I was talking about. That's bad. All right. before I forget this, slow mode is on, so you can't send a message more than every 5 seconds. Um, and some messages YouTube holds for me to look at. Um, on what seems to be a semi-random basis. Like, I think sometimes, I think if they have swear words in them or whatever, but how are the cats? They are both great. Thank you for asking. They were very cross that we went away last weekend for a wedding, but they're a bit happier now we're back. All right, so the writer doesn't know anything about actual, history or whatever. She's so vague on things, she doesn't know if there's going to be magic in the story yet. And the fantasy heroine's like cautiously optimistic. I wasn't sure if she was an actress to play a fantasy heroine or if she was just the character archetype, but she turned into the character archetype. And that turned out to be a lot of fun. So I don't know where she came from. Possibly I just watched too much TikTok, because there are a lot of people pretending to be fantasy heroines. Or at least there are several different series which are like they voice over themselves in front of a green screen doing things with all of these fantasy tropes. And I was like, I like that. I can do that. Welcome. How many cats do you have? I have 2. I have Sherlock and Nemo. Nemo is chunky and stripy, and Sherlock is the one who is extremely long and black and skinny. Like, he's just a very long cat. Will the stream stay up after it ends? Yes, if nothing else, the link to it will still be on the community post. I sometimes unlist them after a little while because, most people don't want to listen to me ramble for 2 hours. Can't imagine why. But yes, it will stay up after the end. There were more questions. Okay, so I have to apologize to the next channel member who asked this question, because I have been thinking about it since they asked it and I don't really have a good answer, because it was, if you had to pick an existing song as a theme song for Rosamund, Captain Collins and Caroline, what would they be? And I don't know. I can tell you what I listened to, which is a song that I only heard. I think I heard it for the first time like 3 weeks ago, but when I write them, I write to basically Taylor Swift Out of the Woods on repeat. And sometimes we move on to like a Joel Sunny cover of In the Middle of the Night. Like, I think the original is by Ellie somebody, but he does like a violin cover of it and it's amazing. I read action scenes to Lindsay Sterling's violin cover of Carol of the Bells. But Caroline in my head is just that new Taylor Swift song, which is "It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me." But that's probably a little mean. She means well. Like, you're meant to side more with Rosamund than you do with Caroline, but you're meant to be able to empathize with Caroline because she's doing her best. Nemo literally means nobody. Yes, but Nemo was named by my nephews. Because it's a long story, but he was named by my nephews because they had him before we did. And now we have him, and he's still called Nemo because why not? He has, in fact, on at least one occasion gone missing, and I had to go finding Nemo. He was in someone's garage. He was meowing very loudly. It was fine. Let's see. Use Sea Shanty. That Kiss by Faith Hill. I don't know that one, I don't think. As a writer, it's easy to understand Caroline. I mean, that's fair. When Rosamund broke free of the outline, I was dancing with joy. I'm glad. How much of you goes into both Rosamund and Caroline? They're both me. Rosamund is like the so Rosamund is like the responsible adult me, and also the part of me that is very done with everything. Caroline is the more optimistic side. She's also very posh because that's the accent I find easiest to do. So I gotta go back to work. Well, I'm glad you came. Yeah, basically they are both me. Rosamund in temperament probably more than Caroline, but there's definitely a lot of me in Caroline. She's just an 11 me at an 11, and I'm not really a romance writer, so that's a little more alien, but it's all good. I know what the people want. Yeah. Rosamund is common sense and Caroline is British and irrational. Yeah. Yeah. Uh okay. Yeah, I watch your stuff at 2.5 times speed. I hope you don't mind. I didn't even know there was a 2.5 times speed. I thought you could only go up to 2. Because I watch everything on at least 1.5 speed, so I am not offended by that in the slightest. I find everything, I'm like, put it on 2 times speed. If that's too fast, then take it down a little bit. But I watch almost nothing at its actual speed because 2.5 is a lot, yeah. Poor Caroline, she's just trying to satisfy. Yeah, like Caroline is, I don't know, very thirsty. Much more so than me, but the thing is, she's for like fluff rather than smut, if you see what I mean. Like, she desperately wants the romance thing, but she's like, I don't know. You will see, because we're getting in there. Cheese for the cheese goddess. Thank you for expressing so many of my thoughts in a more credible way. You are very welcome, and thank you for the super chat. Rosamund needs more daggers. 2 times for everything except for maths and music. Fair, yeah. That sounds about right. Everyone watches fast. Okay. Rosamund's approach to life reminds me of Vin from Mistborn. Thank you. Basically, yeah, like, grown-up Vin is very much a thing. Anyway, so I'm sorry to my channel member who asked that, because I can't really tell you that. But, you know, I will think about it, and if I ever come up with anything, I'll let you know. So let's run through a couple more. Can you scratch your left ear with your right foot? Doubt it. What color would your castle be? White, if only because, but it would have to be like a magical one so it cleaned itself. Is there a specific Irish stew recipe? Absolutely not. It probably needs potatoes in it and meat. Maybe, you know, strongly recommend onions. Everything else is optional. What's your favorite thing to make with chocolate? Brownies. How good is your soda bread? It is non-existent. I've never made soda bread in my life, so I do quite like it. Did you go trick-or-treating at Halloween as a child? I did. My nearest neighbours, who were children about my age, they lived about 200 meters away. This is where we start mixing our stuff. 200 meters away as the crow flies, and nearly half a mile if you went by the actual road. So we used to get together, there were 4 of us, at Halloween, and we would go to 2 houses. The house on the other side of the field from me, and then the house up the lane from me. And we would go to those 2 houses because those were the 2 houses available, and they would be like, hey, it's so nice to see you, and give us like Mars bars or something. Have you ever visited a farm? Yes. How often have you eaten cheese this week? You know what? I've eaten cheese every day so far this week because I've been on a stage combat course. You don't see how that relates, but you will. I went on a stage combat course, and so I had to bring my own lunch, and so I had cheese and chutney sandwiches Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I had another one today because I was like, fancy a cheese sandwich? Why not? What would you name your horse if you had one? I don't know, but there are children's bicycles in our house are named so that one can pretend that they are a horse. So there are currently 2 children's bicycles in my house which have horse names. They are Buckles, the pony, and Twinkle Toes. So there you go. What song are you going to sing? Already covered that. Anyway, combat requires cheese, obviously. Yes, absolutely. I spent my week, I spent the start of my week beating up Ed, Jack, and Duncan. So that was fun. Will you eventually make a replica of the dagger that was once owned by Rosamund's husband? Probably not. I decided that the reason that she recognizes it is because it has like his family crest on it, because that was apparently a reasonably common thing in like history, so that seemed reasonable. So it's not that it's a particularly unusually shaped dagger, it's just that it has a crest on it that, you know, she recognizes. Could you make a cheese themed dagger? That would be hilarious. The last question from channel members, and then we'll get into some of the other ones, is when you were a kid, what did you see yourself growing up to do? Was public entertainer / weaponry informant turned storyteller anywhere on the radar? When I was 8 years old, I wanted to be one of two things. Either I wanted to be a 3-day eventer like Mary King. For those of you who don't know, that's a horse riding thing. You do dressage, which is making horses... it's like horse dancing, making horses move in very precise ways. Cross country, which is riding a horse over jumps and obstacles across country. And show jumping, which is jumping over brightly coloured poles in a ring. I wanted to be a 3-day eventer like Mary King, or I wanted to be not a children's TV presenter, but like I wanted to be a TV presenter. So it turns out that at the age of 34, I guess, I kind of got my wish. which is amazing, and I love it. I'm having a ton of fun. I'm glad. The crest may have been on the top of the handle to use as seal for wax or blood. Yes, but basically that was my thinking. Like the pommel has some kind of crest on the end, but I definitely couldn't make one of those. So this is my happy place. I'm glad to hear it. Oh, thank you. So I'm loving Fantasy Heroine Series. Give me a very strong Girls Next Door vibe. That is one of my favorite webcomics, and I noticed that she has started updating again, or like she started updating within the last 6 months, in which I have not checked it, so I'm quite excited about that. You don't look your age. Yeah, I know, it's weird, and I don't understand it, but I'm happy about it. Does the husband have an evil brother? I haven't decided. Well, I'm whether or not he has an evil brother is a separate question. I haven't decided whether or not he has a brother. He definitely has a sister, but I haven't decided whether the brother-in-law is... the kids are staying with the brother and sister-in-law, as in the brother-in-law and sister-in-law. The sister is definitely Hugo's sister, but I haven't decided if she's married to the brother-in-law or if he's, like, a younger brother. I don't know. Holy cow, it's the cheese lady. Yeah, so I did not... There are many things I haven't expected in my life, and one of them was being the sword lady, and the other is being the cheese lady. But there we go. Anyway, I said I was going to show you my hoodie, so I need to move. First of all, I need to see where I am. Right, we're going to move. Oops. We're going to try moving that. Okay. And now we're going to try and move this doodad so you can see the hoodie, which says, "Just stab me now." I got the women's premium hoodie in charcoal grey, which is pretty nice. I can't tell you if I recommend it or not. I mean, it turned up and it's really nice, so that's good, but I haven't put it in the washing machine yet, so I don't know what's going to happen next. So, consider this a provisional recommendation for the women's premium hoodie. I would point out though, if you're used to your hoodies being large, I would size up, because this is a small, and I was like, well, I am not, a large person. And it fits. As in, like, the sleeves are the right length. And, you put it over your head and it fits your body. But I know a lot of people like to have hoodies with, like, extra room in them. So if that is you, I would size up. But, if you like your hoodies to be more fitted, then it seems relatively true to size. It's like, this is for a British size 10. And, yep, that's me. So, works. I should get a cheese sword. Is the hoodie material soft? Yes. Oh, I got the women's premium hoodie, and like inside, I don't know if you can see, but inside it's sort of like it's fluffy, so it's really soft inside. It's it's nice on the outside too. It's like not horrible or anything, but it's particularly soft inside, which is nice. Please give Rosamund a girlfriend. Like, in what sense? Like a female friend or like a girlfriend? I don't know, that hoodie looks more like not actually armor to me. Fair. Will Rosamund ever start affecting Caroline's life? Well, spoilers. Could you drop the merch link again? Probably, because I had to copy and paste it. Ha ha ha. That worked. Okay. I also got... I got the mug. Here's the mug. This is the panoramic mug, which is why it's on, like, this side. There's also one that just has it on one side, but I'm not sure which side that is. Oh, sorry, that wasn't very good. I also got the stickers, which, I mean, you can't really tell because I haven't taken them off yet, but They're sort of like bubble stickers, so they go around. So you got Just Stab Me Now. I also got Time to Commit Sewing. I think that probably I need to figure out how to return the sewing machine to my mother-in-law and actually buy a sewing machine. But I'm definitely going to put Time to Commit Sewing and then Just Stab Me Now on the sewing machine. And possibly I'll put another one on this laptop because I feel like Time to Commit Sewing, Just Stab Me Now sort of sums up how I feel about halfway through the process. Like, this is going to take forever. I'm committing sewing right now. Amazing. Kimberly, I like it. Wasn't Rosamund married, or rather widowed? Yes, she was. Is this a spoiler? No. Like, is it relevant? No. Okay. Rosamund got married to Hugo when she was 19. So there you go. And he died almost a year ago. At this point in the story. Right, where was I? Oh yes, I was going to answer some questions from the other thing. So, 19, ow. Did she love her husband, or was it just political? Both is the answer to that question. They even have, and I promise you, if this one I think I can promise you, that even if this never becomes any kind of long form content, at some point I will give you what I wrote about the circumstances under which Rosamund and Hugo meet, because they meet at a ball and I thought it was hilarious. So at some point I will actually finish writing that up for you, or and then I will put it somewhere. Probably have to put it on like my website. Somebody was like, hey, love the work you do, was just looking at your website, it's kind of terrible. I was like, yeah, I mean, I appreciate the fact that it is genuinely terrible, but the point is that it's just a place to point you to YouTube, really. Jill talks so fluidly, it seems like IRL Jill will be good at chatting. You would think that. I do talk, but I tend to be the tell us Rosamund's sexuality. Sorry, she's like heterosexual. Happens. Actors happen in the best families. Have to go help my mom. Have fun. Internet high five. Goodbye, and thank you for coming. I'm still laughing at actors happen in the best families, though. My mother is also not an actor, but she used to, and still does, kind of stage manage various kinds of Amdram performances. When she was working, she used to do like the pantomimes that they would put on and stuff. So it runs in the family. When I learned to read, after I learned to read, and she was running a pantomime, I would read the scripts for the pantomime in the back of the car on the way home and make suggestions to improve it. I don't know how many of them she actually ever took, but I definitely, did at least some spelling correction. Philosophical question: are you a leaf or a rock? I don't know, but I would be interested in other people's opinions on that. It's like a did Rosamund have a dagger with her during the meet cute at the ball? No, she was less paranoid then. Do you like the new king, Jill? I assume you mean like the actual king, like King Charles. I don't know, I've never met him. I saw the Queen in person once, as in Queen Elizabeth II, but I was like 10 at the time, so she came to Hillsborough Castle, and we were all like, what she said to us was, "Hello, children. Sorry there was no helicopter." Which, because everyone was expecting her to make a big sort of dramatic entrance by helicopter, and then the winds were so bad that they had to make other arrangements. She was like, "I'm sorry there wasn't a helicopter." Like, that's okay. I was looking for a post. Spoiler if you haven't seen all that's happened so far. How did Rosamund take Leo's horse? I mean, it was just in the stables. Like, Leo, you don't know what's happened to... Is there a hole in this? Well, that's disappointing. I've just found a hole in my hoodie. Like, in the pocket part. Right, well. I'm going to have to email them then. The mug is definitely good, and the stickers are definitely good. There's a hole in my hoodie. But I've ordered a hoodie for my mum, so I'll see how hers turns out. Anyway. Oh no. Chill as a leaf, she goes with the flow. Oh, right, yes. So, you don't know what's happened to Leo yet, and nor does Rosamund, but assume that if Rosamund has just told her brother-in-law, who presumably, like, trusts and respects her at least a little bit, that Leo is a traitor, that he's probably like a little preoccupied right now, and their horses are just going to be in the stables. So she takes her own horse and she takes his as well, because it's right there. And if you ride on one horse and lead the other, then you can swap horses more often, and then you don't have to walk beside the horse to give it a rest, so you can go faster. There was originally a line, is that why you're stealing his horse? And she explains why she's stealing his horse as well as taking her own. But I was like, it slowed it down too much. It slowed it down too much when you have like 45 seconds. So I cut that out. I was like, it doesn't really matter. Grand Theft Auto. Sorry if this has been answered. Is that a Northern Ireland accent? Yeah, it's what happens to a Northern Ireland accent when you spend basically 20 years out of the country. And when your parents were teachers and your father was spent the first 8 years of his life in Canada. So it's a little bit all over the place. Jill turns into cheese. Please give Rosamund a girlfriend. Look, I have enough characters to be going on with. So, and most of the female characters seem to be played by me. So that would just get weird very fast. Or is it mine? It's twofold. He can't chase after her and she can keep riding longer. Exactly. Like, why not kill two birds with one stone here? I have not watched House of the Dragon, but I might review some of their armor at some point, with the disclaimer that I know nothing about it, which seems to entertain people, actually. I'm like, I know nothing about the lore of this world, and I don't care. Let me tell you what I think anyway. It's a wonderful thing that people actually enjoy that, because I am far too lazy to watch a whole bunch of TV series that I'm probably not gonna like. So let's see. Questions which were asked by people when I did things. Assuming a studio hypothetically wanted to cast a big name actress and actor for Rosamund and Captain Collins, who would you want to audition? So like wildly different people, because I could have for Leo, I could Henry Cavill would love. Like the Orlando Bloom kind of looking dudes, like the sort of Legolas looking dudes, also great. Rosamund, I don't know, honestly. Like, she doesn't have to look like me. She just has to be capable of playing both Caroline and Rosamund, because it's quite important that Caroline is, or Rosamund is Caroline's self-insert character, and that's why they have the same face. Would you like fan art of Rosamund Leo the Knife? Of course. Like, fan art is amazing. Yeah, like, fan art is great, and fanfic is great. There's fanfic. It exists. I'm really happy about this. Like, do I care about the quality of it? Absolutely not. Because I, probably won't actually read it. I'm just happy that in most cases, I don't read it. Like, one of my patrons wrote one, and it was great, and I was like, I love that. So, but in most cases, I'm just happy that it exists, because they're like, look, you also like the thing. I'm so happy about that. Henry Cavill for Leo. What about Jennifer Lawrence? Yeah, why not? I thought it was Annie the Mannequin. No, it is an anonymous person. Johnny Depp in a wig for the role of Rosamund. Rosamund Pike for Rosamund, obviously. Well, she is her namesake, so, like, have you watched Henry Cavill's thirst tweets? No. Does Henry Cavill do thirst tweets, and are they, like, about Warhammer? Because that's the vibe I would get, As long as the fanfic and fan art are safe for work. Yes, ideally, please. Do keep it safe for work. Especially the fan art. Like, it's very hard to read explicit fan fiction without knowing that that's what you're getting into. But fan art is like, it immediately burns itself onto your eyeballs. So, like, let's think of the children here. And also my eyeballs. Rosamund needs to be an actress age 30 plus. Yes, most definitely. Isn't Jennifer Lawrence now age 30 plus? I don't know what age anybody is. I thought I subscribed to your channel like 9 months ago. It's possible that you did, and then YouTube just like unsubscribed you. So, you know, there we go. No, those aren't questions. Okay. Would I ever design my own fantasy armor? Probably not, because I can't really draw. But there we go. What is your favorite? I love this one. What is your favorite fantasy heroine trope that you've put into the videos? The favorite one that I've put in so far is probably the Masquerade, because all of the ones that I really love, I have not put in because I could not make them fit. Like, I wanted to have the scene where Rosamund confronts Leo, and then it didn't work, and I was like, it's gonna be so great. But then it both didn't work in terms of I couldn't stage it because of space considerations, and also because I couldn't. I was like, she would not do this. And so all of the like flirty fight stuff and the dancing with your hot enemy stuff, or whatever, I'm like, I want to do all of those things. And the training scenes, it's like my favorite thing. But I can't have them. Or if I have them, it's gonna be a while. Did you make Rosamund older because fantasy heroines tend to be quite young? Basically, I just made her the same age as me. Like that was the main joke of it. That the fantasy heroine turns up because we need to branch out from 16-year-old waifs into like, how old are you? 36. Like, I didn't mean to branch 2 decades out, you know. Henry Cavill is a thirst tweet. Cameron, nice to see you, and thank you. I always like it when people compliment my acting. Who plays the male characters? Why don't we see them? The reason is I don't have an actor here, and so because of that, there are 2 reasons. So the first one is I don't have an actor here, and I have very, very limited space because of the green screen setup, especially. Gwendolyn Christie could be a good, sure, shout, I assume. Gwendolyn Christie is good. What was I saying? I've forgotten. Oh no. Yeah, so I have very limited space because I shoot these in my living room. And also I think because of the limitation, it's actually kind of funnier that you never see the men, or you only see like little bits of them. Didn't think I'd be able to join, but my toddler went down for a nap. Yes, winning at life. Maybe you should go down for a nap, but I'm glad you're here. Does she just not have control of the story? No, she doesn't. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, basically it means that if I do find someone who can come and work in the real world, then it doesn't matter what I have established that the characters look like, because they don't look like anything. They just look like that. They're a shoulder, they're a hand, they're whatever. Caroline speaks for them to a much, you know, Caroline doesn't speak for Rosamund, but she basically speaks for everyone else, because it's a bit like if you've seen today's episode, she says they talk about the masquerade dress, and it was a great dress, and Rosamund says, yeah, it was nice. And Caroline's like, yeah, that's what Leo said about all of them, which probably raises more questions than it answers. But Rosamund talks to Caroline a lot, or rather Caroline talks to Rosamund a lot. I am bleeding. Maybe you should do something about that. Caroline talks to Rosamund a lot, and so Rosamund is very used to it. And also, they have the same face, so in some sense, Rosamund is aware, at least when she is talking to Caroline, that she is a character in a story. Caroline doesn't really talk to the other characters in the same way. Sometimes she talks to Leo, but you have to understand that this is going to be a very different experience for Leo. Like, there is this scary eldritch abomination who is like this woman that I'm supposed to be looking after or whatever, but she wears glasses and she has a different voice, but they have the same face, and she keeps asking me questions, she keeps pushing things, she keeps asking me about dresses. It's like, this is really uncomfortable for me, actually. Like, why are you making me look at this woman in different kinds of dresses? Like, she looks nice in all of them, Caroline. What do you want from me? I don't feel like this is appropriate. I don't. Yes. OMG, Leo talked about her ball dresses. Yeah. It's like, it's very nice. It's nice. That's nice. It's very shiny. Yep, that's nice too. Like, look, Caroline, she looks nice in all of them. What do you want me to tell you? Um, da, 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 da. I'm, uh, but yes, so Leo gets talked to less, but it's it's probably more disconcerting for him. Um, so I would really love to have a Leo so that we could do a collab like that. That would be great. But with in the absence of that, uh, it's it still happens. You just don't see it. Has Leo ever gone off script? Usually not. He's much better behaved than Rosamund is. Presumably because his character is less well formed. Like, Rosamund is the main character, and so she has the strongest, she has the most backstory, character, motivation, like, family tree, etc. Has Rosamund ever explicitly stated she's a figment of Caroline's imagination? Well, yes, at the end of series 1, she's like, Caroline says, we're famous on the internet. And then she's like, oh, the internet isn't. Rosamund says, Caroline, I literally live in your head. I know what the internet is. But obviously, she only knows what the internet is when she's talking to Caroline. She doesn't know it within the story. Can you make a large sword into Mert so we could buy a sword? Probably not. I don't think spread shops sell that. But there we go. What do you mean? So what was the hardest thing about writing a script? So I don't find the scripts hard, although I do end up frequently rewriting them. I find long form projects very difficult. And so what I find difficult is making sure that everything makes sense. And it doesn't, you don't get all of the information. It's a bit like, people are like, oh, Rosamund's little sister is the queen. I didn't know that. Like, yeah, because you didn't need to know it until now, which is the great freedom of the shorts format, is you only need to give people the information that they absolutely must have at the time, which is great, because if you're writing a novel, then the fact that okay, let's call them country A and country B. So Rosamund is from country A, and King Roland is king of country A, and her sister Catherine is married to the king of country A. Rosamund lives in country B formerly with her husband and with her children. The queen of country B is Queen Eudocia, and a thing that you don't know, which is not really a spoiler, is that Robin is also from country B. Like, he's not a countryman of Rosamund's, but they went to the same school, which was like this, they went to a posh boarding school in an entirely different country. So, like, the two countries are next to each other, but there's a third country that borders them, which has a very posh school, to which the aristocrats, if they're that way inclined, send their children. And so that's how Rosamund and Robin know each other. 91 cheeses. Is Rosamund a noble, or is this a rags to riches romance? Rosamund is basically, like, her parents were basically like the Bingleys in Pride and Prejudice, or maybe like, what do you call them? What do you call Charlotte Lucas? Sir somebody Lucas, obviously. Sir William Lucas in Pride and Prejudice. So, other people look down on Sir William Lucas, even though he's a knight, because he was he was in trade and he earned all of his money. But Rosamund's parents were like that, and then became not exactly nobility, but like that kind of idea. And so they sent their daughters to the very posh school with all of the aristocrats, so they could be in high society, which indirectly is how Rosamund ended up marrying Hugo, but that's another story. Do you have the whole series planned out? When I was writing series 1, basically I wrote it like one thing at a time for the first bit, and then I wrote it two things at a time. Series 2 I wrote in its entirety, all together. Series 3 and 4 I have written in their entirety altogether. I haven't finished drafting them yet. They keep changing, but I'm like, okay, for these 4 episodes, I need this outfit. For these ones, I need this one, whatever. Yeah, new money. Exactly. Yes. But, you know, Rosamund is not from a particularly old established family. Put it like that. Any advice for someone starting out writing? The thing is, no, not really. Let me think. So the thing is, like, people keep asking me when the book is coming out, and that there might never be one because I never actually write it. That's the thing. I cannot tell you how to do something I have not done myself. When it comes to scripting, I find shorts a very useful format for that because the time constraints are so precise. Like, you can have anything up to 60 seconds, but you have to have a compelling, like, story arc. Now we're talking about Fairy Liquid. Anyway, which is the reason we call it Fairy Liquid is because it's a brand name. It's like we call it a Hoover instead of a vacuum cleaner. It's technically it's washing up liquid to do the washing up. Are you planning on writing it as a book? We sort of covered that. Are you planning on becoming an actress? No, I did at one point think about trying to do paid acting work as a side, as a thing that I did, and I did a couple of like student films and stuff. But, as it turns out, most of the paid acting work, which is available is in London, which I do not live in, which would be fine if it paid enough that it would make it worth your while to go to London. Do you do any acting outside of YouTube? In a strictly amateur capacity, yes, I do. But not very often because theatre, I have, there are only so many evenings in the week. When the Fantasy Heroine book is completed, will there be another book making it a duology? Maybe. We will see what happens at the end of this one. Because you mentioned wanting to be a priest. Was that a joke? No, I was very serious. Like, when I was 21, I started to go through the vocations process, which took a couple of years, and then I went to the thing in the Anglican Church called the Bishop's Advisory Panel, where they either recommend you for training to become a priest or not. And they were like, no, we're not saying like no forever, but not at the moment. And I went, oh, okay. So then I went away and did other things and eventually became a YouTuber, which honestly probably suits my personality better. So I think it worked out for the best. But no, I really did want to be a priest, and I was learning, ancient Greek and everything. It's especially hard now you're doing the series. How long does it take to work on a short? You could make one from concept to done in less than a day. Like, it only takes a couple of hours of work. The Fantasy Heroine ones take so gosh darn long because of the, relatively speaking, you can still make like a couple of them a day if you put your mind to it. But they take so gosh darn long because of the costume changes, because of the green screening, and because of the subtitles, which are so important, and they do add a lot, and I understand that, and like I have a lot of fun with the emojis, but my gosh, they're so dull and they take so long. Can you explain why Rosamund and Lee are on the quest again? Okay, Rosamund has been sent for reasons that you don't know yet, but it's sort of related to the fact that her sister is Queen of Country A, by the Queen of Country B. Rosamund has been sent by the Queen of Country B to Country A to deliver a declaration of truce. She is being accompanied by Captain Collins, and only Captain Collins. You might think that's a bit sketch. So does she. But there we go. The emoji and the subtitles are great. I'm very glad to hear it. Leo is basically her escort to take her to the country of her birth to deliver this declaration of truce. The reasons behind that, you don't know yet. But it is implied, I hope, that the reason that she has been, the reason she has agreed to be sent to the country to deliver the truce is because it has something to do with protecting her children's inheritance. Because that is her like driving motivation. I don't think she's a princess. Her sister is the queen by marriage. So that's right. King Roland is the king. He is married to Catherine, who is Rosamund's sister. Rosamund is not a princess. She's just the queen's sister. Can you give my puppy a shout out? Oh, I love puppies. Any particular kind of puppy, or just like an adorable puppy? Hello, puppy. I mean, puppies don't understand English, so you know. But anyway, oh dear. I have lost stuff. A labradoodle is a ginger like me. Gingers unite. Absolutely. Let's see. What made you decide to get into stage combat? It was the last Jedi. I went to see it in the cinema and was like, I enjoyed that movie, but particularly I enjoyed this moment where these characters have a really intense, like, emotional moment via the medium of fighting a lot of dudes. I want to, like, that's really cool, and I want it. I want to do that. And you can learn to real fight people, but I feel like that doesn't combine all of the things in the way that fake fighting people does. So I was like, okay, stage combat surely is what that is called. And so I googled it, found there was a course running in Kent that summer, and off I went. I knew nobody. I got there and I was like, everyone else is 22 and a drama school student, but everyone was super nice. And I had a great time, though it hurt a lot because, yeah, ow. My muscles were not used to that level of physical activity. But that was how I got into it. I saw this movie and was like, I want to learn how to do that. Like the fake fighting thing. Yes. And here we are. She's widowed. She has kids, I believe. Yes, she has 2 kids. Let's see. Will we get a Mannequin Skywalker cameo? Not in this video, or not in this live stream, but you've already seen him. You've already seen Mannequin Skywalker playing King Roland, so, you know, she's very versatile. Though I did have to, like, fluff the cape out so that you couldn't tell that she doesn't really have broad enough shoulders, because she doesn't have arms. Anyway, did you also fight with sticks as a child? Yes, I was very into a program called, like, I was very into Robin Hood, like, as a concept, but I was very particularly into a series written by Tony Robinson called Maid Marian and Her Merry Men, in which Robin was just kind of like a useless fop, but Maid Marian was, you know, actually kind of cool. So, yeah, I have written your shorts in the novel form now. I don't really know what that means. I mean, they're not, like, totaled together, they are less than 20 minutes of talking. That feels like it would be a very short novel. And anyway, what's your Hogwarts house? Oh, definitely Gryffindor. Like, people are like, always like, oh, it's Ravenclaw. I'm like, no, I'm probably smart enough to know when something is a bad idea, but I'm dumb enough to do it anyway, so that's probably Gryffindor. Robin of Sherwood is my favorite version of the story. Okay. Got to go back to work. Have a fun time, or at least as fun a time as you can at the work. Have you seen the dog who fights his owner with swords? No, but now I kind of want to. Any fun tropey books to recommend? No, see, that's my problem, because I'm like, I want to read this as a book. I'm like, yeah, I want to read it as a book as well. And it's annoying because, so I really enjoy the Kristen Britton Green Rider books. Although I say that because I just started reading the latest one, which is called Winterlight, and I read what my e-reader says, you read 12% of this book. And I'm like, maybe I'll just go and read one of the early ones again. I like the Kristen Britton books, the Carrigan books, but I love the world that she has created. But like they don't give you like that the dopamine hit of the tropes in the same way that something like fan fiction would. So have you seen the Korean drama? Like, the answer is already no, but tell me more. Extraordinary You, it's similar to season 2 because the character wakes up to notice they're in the story. The Pancake Day song gets posted every Pancake Day. Yes, okay. So like most of you are not from the UK and so will not know what this is, but yeah, hang on, I'm gonna Maid Marian Pancake Day. Why do we all find this so amusing? I don't know. It's just a thing. I guess it's just a British meme. Anyway, here is the link to the Pancake Day song if anybody wants it. You might want to save it to later. What is your favorite dress? It is probably, so I love, okay, please stop doing the cheese thing. YouTube thinks you're spamming. Like the cheese and swords thing. There are so many emojis that I can't tell who's writing it, but you need to stop because YouTube is gonna like shadow ban you or something. Anyway, the Keeper of the Lost Cities books remind me of your shorts. Okay, so the Keeper of Lost Cities might be a good shout. Other people don't have Pancake Day. That would be sad. Americans don't have Pancake Day. No, they eat pancakes like all year round, like weirdos. Where unlike the British, we only eat pancakes once a year. Anyway, where was I? I don't remember. That happens quite a lot during live streams. I apologize, but most of you are. If you're watching this back, you're probably watching it on double speed, so you're fine. We'll get back to the point. Oh, somebody got a not actually armor hoodie, which has arrived. So that's pretty sweet. Will we ever get a Captain Collins reel? That depends. What is the name of the visual book series? I know it's titled Fantasy Heroine, but will there be an official name? I haven't thought of a name. Like, I feel like possibly someone will. If one of us wrote the book, could you read the drafts? Like, probably not. Because not that I don't appreciate the offer, but the problem is that I know all of the things and you only know what I've told you. And even please do a shirt that says I'm in my bad decisions arc. Like, I know all of the things and the audience knows what I have told them. And even after I've done all 4 series, you will still not know most of the things because they inform the character's backstory, but they're not directly relevant to what you need to know in order to make it work, which is a limitation of the shorts format, but it's one I really like because it's very freeing, because it means you don't have to know all the details, you only need to know enough details to do the next short, which is great. Is it Caroline's first time writing Rosamund in a story, or are there multiple universes of Rosamunds? That's a really interesting thought. It's Caroline's first time writing Rosamund. It's not her first time writing a story, but I think she's used to slightly more compliant characters. Does Rosamund like cheese? I mean, obviously. We need a lot of one-off videos. I had pancakes for tea last night. See, that's just weird, but, you know, why not? Thanks to all of you who badly want pancakes for lunch. If we make fan art, how do we make it so you can see it? That is a good question. I would advise there is a subreddit. I do not, like, moderate the subreddit or do things with the subreddit, but the subreddit is r/sword lady, and while I don't, like, read it, as it were, I can read it. So if you put it there, that's probably like the most likely place I'm going to see it. Or you can just drop it in a YouTube comment and put a link, because if you put a link, it will get automatically held by the YouTube filter. Like, if you see a link in a YouTube comment, it is because I have gone through and manually checked that it doesn't go anywhere weird and gone, yes, that's okay. So if you just drop a link to wherever it is in a YouTube comment, literally anywhere on my channel, I will see it because I will have to approve it. So that also works. Let's see. I don't read it. I read it. Bad decisions arc. There needs to be a prominent cheese scene for no apparent reason. Yeah, that's why we had the throwing of the cheese board. I was like, how do I work cheese into this? Let's start with that. Please spill the beans. Does Rosamund find Captain Collins attractive for real, or she's only interested in sword fighting and defending her lands? That, my friend, that would be telling. I don't read it, I just r/eat it. I laughed so hard when the cheese board came up. I'm very glad. My daughter and I are both super into it. Thank you. Well, I'm genuinely glad that people like it, because I'm having too much fun to stop. So, just gonna keep going. Let's see. Who do you feel closest to, the writer or the heroine? Depends on the day. I think Rosamund is more like me, but I definitely empathize with Caroline, especially as I try to write more. I'm like, yeah, Caroline, I feel you. But, you know, things are happening for Caroline too. Does Rosamund have any other siblings? I don't believe so. I think she just has a younger sister. Magic? Question mark? Don't know. Good night, Valdegast. Have a lovely evening. I've had to mentally mark fantasy heroine as not safe for work because the giggling is too much. See, I laugh when I make it, so I don't laugh when I film it, but often when I edit it together and I play it back, I laugh at myself, which is probably kind of bad, but I'm like, you know what, I entertain me. So let's see. Let us during the ball scenes, were you using a mannequin or a Electra? I did answer that. The answer is one of each. Robin and Leo were real. The king was a mannequin. When aren't Rosamund's children staying with her brother? Okay, so in the original one, it says the kids are staying with my brother and sister-in-law, and I was like, that's wrong. It's her brother-in-law and her sister-in-law, so it should be like brother dash and sister dash in dash law. So I changed it for the, what do you call it? Like the compilation, because the more important character is Victoria, who you haven't met yet, who is Hugo's little sister, so Rosamund's sister-in-law, Rosamund's husband's little sister. If it was a novel, would Caroline be in it like how she is in the shorts, or would she not? I feel like she has to. I feel like the appeal of the story, most of the appeal of the story is not the plot itself, but the interaction of the plot with the person trying to wrangle the plot. Would you be opposed if I draw a Caroline a Masquerade book cover? I would not be opposed. I would request politely to see it, because yeah. I love drawing. No, that's not correct. I like other people drawing because I am okay at it. And so I like other people doing it because I'm like, ooh, look at that. Witchcraft. There with her late husband's sibling. Correct. Are you keeping track of all this in World Anvil? No. Literally keeping track of it in several Google documents and my head, which is probably a terrible idea. But we'll get there. Caroline is an extremely unreliable narrator. Fan art covers would be fun. Fan art covers would be fun. Mostly for me, but you know, like, I like fun. Does Caroline have multiple versions of this story where other things happen, like drafts? I don't know if she does, but I do. Because of, yeah, so I can't tell you that either because you haven't seen it. Okay, so episodes 11 and 12 were originally slightly different, and my patrons and channel members know this because I released the entire compilation of series 1 early for them. I was like, here's everything I've done so far. This is the whole of series 1. And then I went, actually, I'm changing what happens in episodes 11 and 12 because I've realized that I need and was not previously a thing, so we need to do that. I've temporarily named it the fanfic of fanfics, or the epic fanfic sword fight, since kind of like a dance battle between Caroline and Rosamund. I love it. Yes, I can see the cheese countdown, but I'm ignoring it because what does it even, Next step, Rosamund in the Multiverse of Many Drafts. I'm sorry, yes, Series 2. It was Series 2 that I changed. You are right. Series 1, I did and was like, yes, good, okay. Series 2, I did and I was like, here it is, patrons and channel members, enjoy. And then I went, actually, those last 2 episodes, I need something that I don't have. Here are 2 new episodes. Will you react to a professional wrestling bout? Maybe, possibly. I'm just nitpicking things to distract from the cheddar wedge spam. Yeah, please stop doing that, sir or madam, or I might have to mute you or something, and that would require me to figure out how to do that, and I don't want to have to do that because that seems like effort. My phone is about to die. Well, it's okay. You can always watch the rest later. It will still be up. The changes, yeah. At some point when it goes up, I will tell you what the changes were. How are you doing? I'm doing very well, thank you. Everything is pretty good here, aside from my neck and my forearms, because I did a group fight, and so I did. There were a karate style group fight, so I have a lot of luckily you can't really see it. I have quite a lot of forearm bruising from blocks and blocked punches and stuff, and my shoulders kind of hurt because I get very tense and I don't relax my shoulders. So there we go. I love that you put the whole series out for patrons first. Great idea. Yes, it's also very, very evil. It's yeah, you can find out what happens next, but you have to give me $1. It's you can find out what happens over the course of next week, or you can give me $1 and find out now. This has turned out to be a really brilliant idea on my part, I think. Are we getting any more fighting vlogs? Maybe. I have a... all right. I have a little clip thing of... It's me dressed as Harley Quinn fighting Jack. I don't know if any of you remember Jack from the Size Does Matter video where we talked about different weapons and how easy it is to wield them depending on what height and strength you are. But yeah, I have a bunch of little clips of me rehearsing a particular sequence with Jack, in which I'm wearing a Harley Quinn outfit, but not the wig, which I want to do as something, but I haven't quite worked it out yet. Would you ever analyze the Court Jester fight? Yes. Yeah, I have a Blu-ray copy of the Court Jester, and I promised that at 500,000 subscribers, which we're currently about 35,000 off at the moment, 34 and a bit, anyway, when I hit 500,000 subscribers, I promised that I would review the Court Jester fight. So yeah, that is definitely happening, and it probably is going to happen next year, I guess, but I don't know. In the month of September, I gained 40,000 subscribers, so that happened. So you never know, it might be this year, but it might not. We do more content with horses. If I can, I would like that. I apologize for spam. Okay, thank you. Hopefully I'll be able to keep up a little bit. The Hermione name video is hilarious. Thank you. It's I got it wrong. I thought it was funny. I decided to make the video. Is that the one with the wall flip? Oh, no. So it is the same costume I wore in the wall flip video. But it's something that I shot yesterday because it was exam day, because I'm wearing running leggings with spangly hot pants over the top. Everyone's like, wow, your shorts are amazing. I'm like, I know. I feel like Superman because I'm basically wearing underpants over the top of my trousers. You considering doing any other series like the Fantasy Writer series? Not currently, but I did a series, a short series on TikTok. It was something like 10 videos, in which I told part of a story, which started at a bowl and had a woman throwing daggers, and then she got thrown off a waterfall. Then everyone's like, what happens next? And I'm like, I literally don't know. And so I stopped. I made them, and then I stopped, and it just stopped on that cliffhanger. Not literal cliffhanger, she'd already fallen off the cliff, as it were. But Um, I just stopped because I didn't know what happened next. So in order to prevent that from happening to the fantasy heroine, I'm just like, let's not think too hard about this. Let's just see where we go. No chance of transplanting the Goblin King video to YouTube. I could actually. Yeah, that is a good standalone one that you guys might like. It's it is more evocative than being an actual series, but you know, are you interested in receiving plot ideas for what happens next? Not currently, because I already know what happens next. I just haven't filmed it yet. Yeah. Basically. I mean, you can still make plot suggestions because I enjoy reading them, but they will not affect the eventual outcome because I know what happens now. At least to the point where we resolve enough things that it comes to a natural conclusion. Yes, I watched that and you were so mean to us. I'm sorry. I was like, I literally don't know what happens now. Shoot. I did not think this through. Then I was like, maybe it's because you don't plan things, but there we go. I also really enjoyed you guessing Magic the Gathering monsters based on the armor. That was very fun. I enjoyed that. We shot that back in July or August maybe, and then it just took me a really long time to get it all edited because the summer holidays happened, and like summer holidays, you know. Will you name country A and B? Oh yes, they already have names, but it seemed easier to, you know, label them country A and country B for the moment because like blibbity and nimmy, you know, that's harder to remember than country A and country B. Do plot suggestions lead to legal stickiness if someone says you profited off their idea without compensation? That's a good question, and I don't know. The thing is though that people leave plot suggestions or what they think is going to happen next, and quite often, or more often than you'd think, they're right. And the reason that they're right is because they know the tropes, like they know the shape of the story already. So even if they don't know the details, they can correctly guess what's going to happen next. Kieferth. Per Kieferth. I had to change the name of the country, having like canonically named the city Kieferth. I was like, I can't name the country this. I need to name it something else now. Good evening, Sneaky McD. Kind of think country A and country B is more in line with the satire of it all. Well, country A does start with an A, and country B does start with a B. Because I was like, that's exactly how Caroline's brain works. She would name them country A. She would be like country A and country B, and then she would come up with a name that began with A and a name that began with B, just so that they had appropriately fantasy names. Have you considered creating a map of countries A, B, and C? Yes, actually. I really want to draw like a really terrible, you know, low effort map, which is like country A, you know, like not even the whole of the countries, just like the border and the like the bridges and the, you know, like a little island or whatever. And then, you know, it's like other people over here, you know, other people, ocean, very dangerous, you know, that kind of just the way that I would the way that it exists in my head, basically, which is not a way that is like well formed at all, just because I think it would be funny. Kiefer, capital city of Southern. Keyforth, as in Quay, key as in port, forth as in Forth. Here there be dragons, yes, exactly. Fancy school here, yes, exactly. Upside down Europe. I wasn't even going to turn it upside down, honestly. Please, can you do the map? I will see what I can do. Don't forget to have something on the map scribbled out. Yeah. Draw them like some US states, 2 adjoining big squares with tiny sections of irregular border. Murky and Ghoulie. I'm late. Yeah, but, you know, welcome anyway. Here there be dragons. I'm from Krypton, just the planet's name, never a country or city. I mean, yeah, but if you were from an entirely different planet, you know, I'd just be like, I'm from Earth. If I were meeting someone who was not from Earth, I would say, I'm from Earth. We call it Earth. You know, why would we not? Somebody, I don't know if they're here because, oh no, 21 minutes ago they're like, oh no, I missed it. I'm late. But they're not late, so I hope you're here. Let's see. Where are we? Here there be their names are A, Bia, and C. Yes. Here there be cheese. Caroline draws a map and Rosamund's like, how is this supposed to help? Yeah. Like labeled bridge that Rosamund falls off. You know, that sort of thing. Oh, you must love fermented shark. Indeed. Right. Okay. Did we have any other questions? Right. They're from the planet Newton Arts. Welcome to planet Dirt. River Rosamund fell into that once. Yeah. Okay. Question that I am going to ask now is, do you have any questions which you would like to ask? Because I've done all of those ones. I showed you the mug because that's what we do. That's one of the reasons we are streaming, is to say, look, merch, it exists. There are stickers. There's a hoodie, but the hoodie has a hole in it, so that's slightly disappointing. But the mug is good and the stickers are good. So let me get back to you on the hoodie. I'm new to this channel. What was the whole obsession with cheese? Okay. Why is this labeled Rosamund falls off the horse here? I love it. Okay, the cheese thing. I made a video about the cheese thing. So if you go back in my videos, you can probably find it, or just search like Jill Bear Up cheese. Probably does it. The cheese option is because I used to be on a website called the Long Hair Community, and when they had polls, because that it's like, you need to remember that we're just here to have fun and grow long hair and do interesting things with it. It's not that deep. So they would almost always have in the options like, do you prefer this kind of hair care product or this kind of hair care product or this one, or I don't care, I just like cheese. To remind you, just to, sort of as a joke option if you don't have a strong opinion, but you still want to like interact, but also just to remind you that it ain't that deep. It's like, we're just here to have fun. Nobody, don't make a big thing out of it. So that is why we have the cheese option. Will Rosamund encounter someone in Just Stab Me Now armor and start critiquing it? My husband was like, you really need to figure out a way to get Rosamund to say just stab me now, because then you'll sell more hoodies. Thanks, honey. But yeah, I have not yet come up with a context in which she can say that. So maybe if we decide to continue the series, we will almost definitely have to have a flirty fight, because it's just kind of required. Like, no. This is where I unleash my inner Caroline. Like, no, I don't care what you want. I don't care what point, what kind of thing we have to do. We're going to contrive it, because I want one. In the same way Caroline's like, I want a masquerade ball. I'm like, go for it. Leo and the hot best friend fighting. You need to Just Stab Me Now crop top. I guess Rosamund would just stab them now and then explain afterwards why they shouldn't have been wearing it. I mean, they might be allies, in which case she probably shouldn't just stab them. But, let's see. Could you perhaps post another merch link? Yes, I can. Hold on, I got this. Can I see the mug? I wasn't here earlier. Yes, of course. I mean, there are new people now, so hold on. You can see the hoodie again. Ooh. This is the women's premium hoodie, but I just found out that it has a little hole in it, so I'm gonna have to, email somebody. But we have the mug, we have the hoodie, which is Just Stab Me Now. This is the panoramic mug. There's also some other option. I might get a black mug with the white Just Stab Me Now on it. I think that would look quite good. I think we have one of those. And we also have the stickers, which are like little bubble stickers, but I haven't taken them off yet. So we have Time to Commit Sewing and Just Stab Me Now. Apparently somebody bought a not actually armor hoodie, so I hope that looks good too. Do you have a list of tropes you want to make sure you fit into the plot? Did Catherine and King Roland meet at the school? At some point I might write the circumstances under which they met, but I don't actually know. I just have like, I have a vague idea, but not a brilliant one. Did I actually do that? I don't know. If you're gonna lie to me, why don't you just stab me now? See, yeah, that is very dramatic. Probably more dramatic that, like, you know, that than she really gets into, uh, which is the thing about Rosamund. Like, she's better at fighting than I am, but she doesn't, like, she's not the 16-year-old fantasy heroine. So if she's traveling with this dude whose intentions she's not entirely clear on, she's gonna go out of her way not to bait him, like, not to goad him, if it's at all possible, because it does it, you know, she will swallow down the feelings and deal with them later rather than upset someone who she's gonna have to spend the next, like, week or whatever with, and who she doesn't know. Like, she doesn't trust him, especially when they're first traveling. Like, she's like, who is this dude? Like, he has been sent to ensure my safety. Is he actually useful at all? Is he just a stooge? Am I just being sent off to die? I don't know, but it is necessary for reasons related to the plot, which we haven't got into yet. So off I go, I guess. And then he saves her life, and she saves his life. And so that's better. And so, but, like, a lot of the reason that characters get into flirty fights in fantasy series is because they push each other, and the two characters who I've ended up with are too sensible to do that most of the time. So if they're going to have a flirty fight, it has to be in a completely different context, because this ain't it. Is the hole in the hoodie for headphones? That's a good question. I don't know. Is that what it's for? Wait, hold on. I mean, it is precisely in the middle of the pocket of the hoodie. Oh, maybe I'm maligning them unfairly. Hold on. No, definitely not. No, it's just an actual hole because it doesn't go all the way through the lining. Anyway, sort of like a friendly please don't start drama. Yes, exactly. No, I was not, in fact, maligning them unfairly. There's just a hole in it. Never mind. Will there be merch for the series? Maybe, but I just spent all the money on the previous designs, and that took like that took like 2 months to go from idea in my head to thing that I could sell. So we'll get there, but first I would like to make back the money that I spent for the other things. Although that did mean that I now have very nice looking stampity stamps for the actual videos for, like, Just Stab Me Now or Not Actually Armor or whatever. Will there be hot enemy mugs? That would be nice. Like, or, you know, when you get those, like, two sort of ones in a matching set, fantasy heroine, hot enemy, or whatever. I don't think that you need Just Stab Me Now crop top. Unfortunately, I don't think Spreadshop do crop tops. Sad. Convergent evolution, when I used Twitter, I used to joke I basically just posted about how I like cheese. I never click the cheese option because I do not like cheese. That's fair. People for fun used to click the I don't know you lady option, which is why I then introduced the cheese option, because it makes you feel like you're making a joke, but it also does not provide incorrect information, if you see what I mean. So people still hit the I don't even know you lady button for fun, but they do it much less now that there's a cheese option. What was Hugo's social status? He was a sir, so he was actually a member of the aristocracy, albeit a slightly low, not a very particularly high ranking one. A flirty innuendo Zorro-esque fight? Like, possibly. Season 3 is being planned. Season 3 has been written, so has Series 4, for that matter. They just haven't been done yet, because for various reasons. Had to order a new green screen today. I will say that it was Nemo's fault, and no other explanation is necessary. It was the cat's fault. I need a new green screen. Anyway, contrive the fight. Yep, it's what's happening. I'm imagining the name of the inn is the One Bed Inn. See, a masquerade ball would be the perfect place for Just Stab Me Now. But the thing is, you don't have to just have one ball in a story. You know, you can have more than one. Like, formal occasions are allowed to happen more than once. So, in the future, other people can have balls. I mean, in Pride and Prejudice, they have like 6 of them. So, you know. Let's see. So maybe some merch with a quote from Rosamund. Where can we buy the merch? If you look up a bit, there should be a link, and if not, hang on. Will Caroline take revenge for her loss of a flirty dance? We'll see. Hang on, let me put this link in again for you. That is, you should see it. Did you have a favorite childhood cartoon? I really like the Rescue Rangers. I blame this for my doing an engineering degree because I wanted to be Gadget Hack Wrench and be an inventor of things. Also, I was quite good at maths. Anyway, but yeah, I liked the rest. I quite liked quite a lot of cartoons, but you know, the kind that you could get on terrestrial television because we didn't have anything else. And Northern Ireland also tended to get things later than other places. So they're like stuff like Transformers. I've never seen an episode of Transformers, I don't think. But there we go. Other people can have balls. It happens in Pride and Prejudice. So like, wait. Yeah. As in, other people can, you know, organize a dance in a ballroom. There we go. How many children does Rosamund have? How old are they? 2. She has 2. They are a teenager and a not quite yet a teenager. More details as they are relevant. Leo says, just stab me now. Rosamund pulls out a hidden dagger and says, I can oblige. Have you seen the new Chip and Dale movie? I haven't, actually. Thank you, Jeremy. That's very kind of you. Could you insert a 1-second blank screen after each episode, please? Not for this one, but maybe for the next one. You could paint a wall in green screen green. I mean, I could, but like the walls are so small that it's not really. Then I just have like 1/2 of a wall section, and it would be kind of weird. So I'm just gonna wait. Apparently, Amazon is going to ship it like tomorrow, which is great. So I'm very happy about that. Yeah, they made a kids show called Chip and Dale. Yeah, Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. I used to think when people talked about the Chip and Dales that they meant Chip and Dale. And then I discovered that the Chip and Dales are just a bunch of dudes who take their shirts off and are very oily. And I was like, that's really disappointing. I thought it was about the Chip and Dale calendar. I thought it was about the cartoon, but apparently no, it's just a bunch of shirtless dudes. That's really disappointing to me. Maybe a whole room painted in green screen. Yes, that would be it's quite a bright green, bit of an, you know, like gonna have my Bible study group in, you know, sitting in the living room and everything is eye-tearingly bright. I suppose it would make the zoom part of that easier, but you know, male strippers dressed as gophers. Reddit tries to embellish a fight scene and Rosamund gets frustrated and said, just stab me now. Yep. I too expected chipmunks instead of shirtless men. I'm so glad it wasn't just me. And Chip and Dale furniture predates them both. Yeah, see? Like, the world needs a series of how very disappointing discoveries as you learn about things. I have to leave again. Okay, well, we will see you later. Baby room painted green screen green, so they'll get a terrible start in life. Yeah. Hello from Oregon. Hello, Rebecca. You have a Bible study group. Yes, I lead a Bible study group, which was like not a thing that I expected. But the previous people who ran my Bible study group were a married couple, and the lady is a vicar now. So she was like, I can't lead the Bible study group anymore because I have to go be a vicar. And I was like, okay. And so my church said, would you do it? And we'll get someone else to be your co-leader. And I was like, okay, guess you're all coming to my house now. So that's been really nice. And now that we're not we now have a hybrid group because you can come to my house or you can just be on Zoom if you live far away. Or if you're like one of the people in the group who like jets all around the world, being a fancy pants international lawyer person, some weeks you'll join us and we're like, where are you today? And it's, oh, I'm in Kenya. Like, oh, cool. What time is it? My parents were so sorry to say no for my desire for the Chip and Dale's calendar at 6. I was so confused. Is our heroine going to use other... what are you or Rosamund going to be for Halloween? What am I doing for Halloween? Oh yeah, we're going to a thing. I don't believe I have to wear a costume for it, but I definitely can. I suppose I could go as Rey from Star Wars because I have that costume. Basically, I have two costumes which aren't some kind of fancy like formal dress, and they are Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad. So that's a bit like, yeah, like we break that one out. I broke that one out yesterday for the exam because I was like, well, first of all, I can wear my running leggings underneath, because otherwise just no. And also that there's so little of it that it's very easy to move in. The other one is Rey from The Last Jedi, but that one I was like, no, I can't wear that. It's got too many layers and too many sort of loose flappy bits. So I didn't basically I did not want Jack or Ed to block a punch and get caught in like those sort of drapey bits that they have on the costume. And then we all fall in a heap and it looks really bad and then we fail the exam. Although you don't fail an exam just for falling down, even if it's because you got tangled in your costume. So we could probably have pulled it back, but I thought it'd probably be quite hot. So better to go with the thing that's basically a t-shirt and a pair of underpants over the top of actual leggings. Anyway, sun's fully risen here. How's the weather or Starscape where you are? I think it's kind of overcast. It's definitely dark. It's been dark for a while, but there we go. A Harley Quinn outfit can be so skimpy it can be swallowed with a decent sized glass of water. True. I mean, there was the jacket which went over the top, but I just went with the t-shirt and the hot pants because I was like, the jacket's kind of slippery, so let's just not. And then of course I didn't want to wear the wig either, so I just put my hair up, and then the hair turned out kind of Sailor Moon, so I looked like Harley Quinn trying to dress up as Sailor Moon, which is quite funny. Are you Scottish? No, I'm Northern Irish. UK clocks change this weekend, so they do. Luckily, my phone changes automatically. Have you ever been asked to coordinate fight scenes for movies or TV shows since you become YouTube famous? Let's go with yes and no. So people ask me to for my advice on things, but not like people from TV shows or movies, because they have stunt coordinators or fight directors or both. So they have the people who teach me. So I said that I was fighting Jack this weekend, but Jack is a professional doer of the thing, and he was there as a teacher, but because we were doing a group fight, we needed more people to fight than we actually had, so the teachers were we were fighting our teachers, basically. It was fun. Harley Moon, yeah, that was it. Don't forget to like the stream. Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you, Kimberly. See, there we go. There are 500 of you here right now. Hello. That's really weird. It's really nice though. I should go to homework, but this is more fun. I mean, that's fair enough. Eventually, I'm going to run out of ability to talk. We have been going for nearly 2 hours, but when you're a vague professional, yeah. Basically, if you brought me onto a show or a movie or something, I would have a very solid background in being able to do this stuff as an actor. But I would not be the person you call if you need a stunt double or if you need a fight coordinator. What if Rosamund's 16-year-old daughter... Yeah, so I wrote a joke. So the question is, what if Rosamund's 16-year-old daughter is Caroline's wanted fantasy heroine, but Caroline got Rosamund by mistake because she and her daughter have the same name, which is very funny. Rosamund's daughter is the younger sibling. So Rosamund's daughter is roughly 11. I haven't quite decided yet. Um, but I had written a joke for a later point which I have not used. But there was at one point a joke which was like, I mean, there's always your daughter, like, you leave her alone. You know, give her 5 more years and she'll be fine. No. How to make Rosamund hit the roof. Intimate that you're going to make her daughter into a fantasy heroine of the typical ilk. Like, absolutely not. Would you be interested in doing that? I would not be qualified, or more importantly, well, equally importantly, I would not be insured to do that, at least not to teach. If someone was like, hey, we want you to be in our TV series and we'll pay you lots of money and you can be an actress and do like a lot of your own fight scenes, then that would be great. I would be perfectly, happy with that, provided it was not terrible. Provided it was more fun and less the story that Caroline actually wanted to write, It is time to talk about the sword in the room. There are 2 swords in the room. There is the long sword, and there is the rapier, which sits behind the very stabbed silver play button. But there we go. Hello from Connecticut. Hello. Having the instructors help in the fight exam is very fun. It's true. Hang on. Will the stream still be up after it's done? Yes, hopefully. How did you fight in Harley Quinn shoes? I did not. I just wore like regular people's shoes because I ordered a pair of the shoes or something roughly equivalent when I was doing the Harley Quinn short, but they never turned up. And I was like, oh, gee, what a shame. So I got my money back and never bothered with them. I just wore regular shoes, which was good because I turned my ankle even without that. The live stream will continue until Jill can't speak anymore. Do you find because you're trained in fighting, your normal everyday fights are easier? No, because I don't go around fighting people. That would be extremely strange of me. I mean, when you're on a fight course, you're surrounded by people, especially at the advanced level, who, just sort of casually try and kick each other as they go past. And occasionally, especially if you get a lot of martial artists, they'll just like full on start sparring with each other. That doesn't happen so much at the lower levels when you're at sort of standard or intermediate level, but when you get the people who are really good, and they're really good because they've done martial arts and they've done stage combat and they've done all of this other stuff, they'll just like casually fight each other sometimes, which is very funny. I tend not to do that though, and they tend not to do that to me because they know that I don't really have a martial arts background, and so we just like try and casually on the way past. Or you go up to someone and fake punch them, and then they have to react dramatically. Oh no. Oh dear. What places in Kent would you recommend visiting? I've never been to Hever Castle, where Anne Boleyn used to live, but I've heard it's very nice, and they do jousting and stuff there, so that's pretty cool. Dover also has a castle. Don't know why we're going with castles, I guess because of the fantasy heroine, like medieval sort of thing. Canterbury Cathedral is very cool. Lots of nice stuff, and the tour is pretty interesting. What else? I mean, it's a relatively pretty part of the world. It's not very hilly, so if you're into hills as your landscape, then it's not very hilly. But it's quite a nice part of the world. A lot of farms. It's pretty rural. Like even Canterbury is just like a town with delusions of grandeur, rather than a city. Like it's a very, very small city. Everything's very walkable. Also, there's basically no phone signal in Canterbury city centre. Having been there. You've also got Ashford, which is like really big. And then Deal, which is where I go for the courses. Canterbury, I know, because we go there for courses as well, because we go to the Malthouse Theatre, which is very nice. Excuse me. But yes, lots of nice things. Whitstable is lovely. Lots, beach, nice beach. Broadstairs is like right at the very east part of Kent, but it has, you know, the beautiful like white sandy beaches and the white cliffs and, you know, lots of ice cream shops. Very important. For Kent, I'd recommend St. Margaret's at Cliffs as a lovely village to visit. There we go. I think she has a Patreon, probably more videos there. You say that, but not loads. I tend, you know, there are some, there's like the extended videos playlist, I guess, but most things I tend to, like, you know, 90% of the stuff that I make public. And then it's only like 10%, which is, you know, a lot of stuff goes up early for patrons, but most things tend to make it into the public domain, except for like the monthly live streams that I do with my $5 nut patrons. Those just stay private. I mean, they're usually only like 6 to 10 of us, and we just like chat for 45 minutes, and then I go eat chips. Which is nice. It's good. It's like, you know, we do it once a month. It's cool. You have beaches that aren't rocky. Yeah, I know, right? I figured it out. I'll do homework while I listen to this. There we go. Do you ever reference Caroline in your novel write-up bits? Sometimes. Like, I tend not to, because I tend to just... for the sort of novel write-up sections, I'm writing it because I need to understand what the characters have done in order to figure out what they're going to do next. So I have been trying to go back and figure out how to put in Caroline, but it's proving much more... The shorts format really works for the discussions between Rosamund and Caroline, and the novel format just... I don't know how to make that compelling, because in a novel you need to give more information up front. If you don't know something in a short, you understand it's because you've had literally 10 minutes of content. If you don't know something when it happens in a novel, then it's sort of like, well, where did that come from? And so it's... There's a blacksmith among us who wants to make something for Jill. Let us support him. Yes, we absolutely should. Although I totally missed that. Oh, yes, somebody did mention the hole in the hoodie for headphones, but it doesn't actually go all the way through, so it is not for headphones, sadly. I was like, oh, that's genius, but no, it's not. Since you use Google Docs, can you make Caroline's voice as notes to the side? Yeah, that could work. I'm so glad I chose to live vicariously through you. Live vicariously through during the pandemic. I may be having more fun than you, as I don't get the bruises or worse have to sew. Make it go all the way through. Make it for the headphones. You know, do it like the Princess Bride. Yeah, see, I feel like the Princess Bride format is the one that's going to work best. But yes, I'm working on it. But for now, I'm like, let us get this. As Rosamund is going to increasingly be saying over the next little while, one crisis at a time. So first we get Series 2 all up on the internet, and then we shoot Series 3 and 4, and then we try and put that up. Okay. Need an illustrator. Okay. What if Caroline also realizes she's a character? That would be extremely meta. I feel like that would make a great kind of what do you call it? April Fool's Day short, where everyone realizes that they're a character, and then you have the YouTuber appears. It's like, guys, you really need to get it sorted. Please think of my analytics. Would you do other voice work? I have. I would not be averse to it. Put it like that. Depends if it's interesting or not. Or very well paid. Like, I'll take very well paid also, because, you know, gotta eat. No, I am late. Yes, I mean, you are pretty late. But, on the other hand, you made it for a little bit of it. How did you decide how many episodes per series? It just I got to an end point at the end of series 1 and then went, oh, and then wrote a bunch of stuff for series 2 and then just went, okay, so this is the cliffhanger we're going to end the series on, I guess. Because it just kind of escalates. Or even when it rises and falls, like there's still series 2 is just a series of cliffhangers, because what happens next, because it's all happening in a very compressed kind of time period. Jill Caroline told us in the video. Series 4, the end, or the end for now? Let's go with the end ? We'll see how it does. The first series got a lot more views, but the second series has got a lot more engagement, and also it's like it's still making me happy. It doesn't make a lot of money, but in the new year, shorts get monetized at some point, and so subsequent series might actually make an appreciable amount of money, which would be great. I mean, like, I appreciate that it's got me a lot of new patrons, which has been fantastic, because that's a much more reliable income stream than YouTube ad revenue, and also channel members, obviously. You guys are kind of the same thing, you're just on different platforms, you know, at least in my head. But, you know, there we go. Emma Thompson would make a great Caroline. See, I feel like if you were so someone had suggested a theater, like, what would it look like as a play? And I was like, that's a really interesting question. I feel like if it were a play, obviously you can't have Caroline and Rosamund played by the same person, because that just doesn't work. But you can kind of make it work if they don't, you know, they don't have to look similar, but it would be good if they did. They don't have to look the same. But I feel like it was a very interesting sort of intellectual exercise, because I wondered if you had a play version and you had someone as Caroline and someone as Rosamund, could they trade off the roles? Could you be Caroline one night and Rosamund the next night, like if you wanted to? But let's see. Oh, played by twins, hire twins. Yeah. I feel like that would be like, it's like, we need you to be able to act and also be an identical twin. Do we know any actors? Or I was so invested I joined. Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful thing, and I'm really happy about it. Caroline is the narrator whose voice is played over the speakers. Changed my mind. I like that. Yeah, and that is an interesting thought. Kind of work if it was self-insert fanfic. One-person shows are a thing. I saw Animal Farm as a one-person show. I mean, Animal Farm as a one-person show is fascinating to me. But yeah, I feel like having them both I feel like their interactions are what make it funny. Because people are like, I'm so invested in the plot, I'm so invested. And I'm like, yeah, but you're invested in the story. And I think it's interesting how invested you are in the story. And I think part of the reason for that is because you are doing a lot of the work, right? So you don't know what Leo looks like. You've made him up in your head. You don't know what you only know like half a dozen interactions that he's had with Rosamund, so you've filled it in yourself, and it's compelling to you because you have the bones of the story, but your brain has filled in the rest. And I think that's part of what makes it really interesting, because people who like very different things all still like the story because you have a skeleton onto which you kind of flesh out in your head. A bit like people are disappointed in the Transformers movies, but like you're always going to be disappointed in a Transformers movie because it's never going to be as good as the stories you made up when you were 6 and you were playing with your Transformers, kind of thing. I was hoping for a huddle for warmth trope since we already hit there's only one bed. I mean, possibly we, by the end of the story, only about by the end of like series 4, basically only about a month has actually passed in real time, and it was sort of the end of summer. But things still get cold. Also, time passes, so like maybe twins. Everyone's like, twins. Like, you know what? It's hard enough to find like really good actors. It's even harder to find ones which are twins. But you know, the Frankenstein production. Yes, the Frankenstein production was exactly what I was thinking of. So Benedict Cumberbatch and Johnny Lee Miller played Frankenstein and Dr. Frankenstein and the monster. But they switched up. So some nights it was Benedict Cumberbatch's Dr. Frankenstein, and some nights he was the monster. Fleabag is also one woman show. Good point. Like, I just really loved the line, that would be more of a compliment if we didn't have exactly the same face. Like, it made me laugh a lot. So I was like, it's got to go in there. There's been a Broadway show. They hire actresses to look similar, and then hair, makeup, costumes to make them to look different. Caroline has said that Leo is hot. Yes, but that's also kind of why I am reluctant to get to, you know, if we have a Leo, it's because I think that his acting is so good that he really understands the character, as well as him, you know, being hot, presumably. Because it's kind of individual what you find very attractive. Like, you know, is someone handsome? Is someone handsome is a thing that you can more easily. It's more consistent what people would say. Yes, that is handsome or not. But to be your hot enemy, to have an attractive quality about them, is more than just they have a pretty face. There has to be you have to hint at a character that we're going to find interesting as well. And that's why, like, everyone loves Leo, but everyone's made up their own Leo at the moment. Like, all you know is Rosamund and Caroline and them bickering. You know what Leo does, but you don't know what he's think. You know what Leo does, but you don't know what he looks like, and you don't know what he's thinking. So you have to make it up. Scenography would be fun. Half the scene a writer's den, the other half a medieval adventure time. Characters perhaps crossing over at points. Coming up. That's why Twilight was so popular. The main character is a blank slate for readers to project themselves onto. Yeah, I mean, and that's a very well established thing that people, you know, like. So, you know, not wrong with I personally prefer a little more meat on the bones of my characters, but, you know, attractive is subjective, like Mr. Darcy 2005 versus 1995. Exactly, like, both of them are handsome men, right? But which one is more attractive to you, it depends on your personal preference. I don't find Leo hot because we haven't seen anything of him. We don't know much about him. He could be a lamppost. Fair. How many words have you written so far? About 10,000, I think. Who is the actor for the cover artist? That is Zach Evans, who I did a previous video with, where he's a jouster and he does reenactment. So I was like, I want to make a historical costume. Could you find me some, like, historical fantasy costumes? Basically, like, what did medieval people paint? In the same way that we love women in armor, they also loved women in armor, and they kind of made it up a lot of the time. So that was how I ended up making a Joan of Arc costume based on, like, 15th century Germany rather than, you know, the correct time period in France. And then I went and rode a horse while wearing the costume, because he has access to horses and I kind of don't. Also horses that wouldn't be, you know, perturbed by me showing up in a male shirt and jingling all over the place. If someone can play the part well, appearance doesn't matter. Yeah, that is also true. Like, while it's, you know, it would be nice to intimate that they actually look similar, even though they have different, you know, hairstyles, and one has glasses, or however you do it. It doesn't have to be, because someone can be, you know, a character can be someone's self-insert without actually necessarily looking like them. It's just funnier if they do. So yes, I did some of you are talking about is the husband actually dead was a very common thing when uh, is the husband actually dead is a very common thing when you find out that the knife belonged to Hugo, the dead husband. Like, is he actually dead though, or is he actually the baddie? So I remember when writing part of that, I was like, at some point I need to make it clear that he is, we're pretty confident that he's dead. Rosamund has seen his body. So we're reasonably confident he's dead. Is Caroline and Rosamund's idea of hot the same? I feel like it is. At least in terms of like physically what they look like. And the thing is, with Rosamund being a self-insert character to a certain degree, I feel like the things which Leo does, which Rosamund would find attractive, are because Caroline also finds those things attractive. If you see what I mean. I'm not sure if that made sense. Husband is also played by twins. Let's not make this a zombie story. Please put the weapon dress fight in. I really like, I feel like if we end up with, if we end up with like book 2, as it were, we're definitely going to have some kind of weapon dress fight thing. Nearly almost dead, but not quite. And my cat's just brutally slaughtered a small animal in front of me on my clean carpet. Lovely. Cats. Okay, I've run out of water and I'm officially starting to like cough, so we're gonna have to stop soon. I have in fact been talking for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Let it never be said that I, run out of stuff to talk about. And I've only lost my train of thought like 5 times, which in 2 hours is pretty good. Another reason I care about the story is because you obviously care about a lot and put so much effort into it. I mean, I do. I have become I'm probably more invested than you are, because is the secretary from the first episode also a self-insert character? Originally, she was meant to be like a different person, which is why she had different hair and a different accent. But now I think she is in fact just another sort of character in Caroline's head. She is the part of Caroline's brain. She's like the organized part of Caroline's brain who provides her with, who like has the ideas organized and provides her with things, which means and the reason that she sounds American is because Caroline watches too much YouTube, and so too much organizational YouTube, and so all organized people in Caroline's brain are like have long wavy hair and American accents, or at least North American accents. Why was Caroline so horrified by Rosamund's age? Because she doesn't want someone with all of the baggage. Like Caroline is not Rosamund's age. And I've never made that explicitly clear, but Caroline is not the same age as Rosamund. Rosamund is older than Caroline. So Caroline, I don't know exactly how old Caroline is, but she's about like 25 maybe. Caroline's in a coma and this is her dreams. This is turning into like Life on Mars level of meta. I love it. We put this live on YouTube for those who missed it. Yeah, it's public right now, so I'm not going to make it private or anything. At least not for a while. I wonder how many Carolines there are. I picture Leo played by Jill with Dread Pirate Robert's mustache and outfit. I would love, like Carrie Elway's, very much when we were going to see a little bit more of Leo for the masquerade, the look was very much, the mask was a little bit different, but the look was kind of Dread Pirate Roberts sort of thing, but with a different wig, because I don't have a Dread Pirate Roberts style of wig. I've been writing a story all on and off for maybe 3 years. No one actually has names, and her name is Placeholder 1, Placeholder 2, and Placeholder 3. Will you get a finale? There's no planned ending. There's a planned ending for Series 4, which is written, or at least drafted. Whether or not there is another story after that, or whether the story continues after that, because, you know, there will be enough plot hooks left. I hope we will resolve enough things that people don't scream in frustration, but we're not going to resolve everything because we don't have time at all. A conclusion, not necessarily an ending. Yes. Conversely, it's easier for Rosamund to manipulate a younger writer. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. Casual subscriber for over a year, loving Rosamund versus Caroline. Hard to say who's going to win. I expect that the answer will be cheese. Indeed so. Yeah, I thought it was pretty clear Caroline is younger with the old people comment. Yeah, I mean, yes, we don't have time, because you don't have time to tell people everything. You only tell them the most important things, and then you just try and kind of hint at everything else. I will not say who, and I will not say which video it is on, but someone left a very long comment on one of the videos in Series 2, in which they laid out everything that you have learned so far, and they tried to put it all together. And I was like, dang, that is really good. They have got a lot of things right, and the things that they have not got right is just because they don't have a piece of information that they need yet. Like, you've been thinking about this, and I appreciate that. But when the rest of the series is out, I am gonna have to go back and like reply to the comment and be like, you were so good at this, but I couldn't tell you that at the time. To be fair, old people are reading it. That's true. How long will the series last for in terms of months? I probably will be done. Series 3 and 4 will be done before Christmas. They might be done before the end of November, but probably, you know, they'll definitely be done before Christmas. So we'll see. I figured the show would end with Caroline getting writing fatigue. You'll see. How long before Caroline and Rosamund have a TV tropes page? You have one, but they don't. I do not know. Just joined, had to go through a ton of ads for some reason. I think the stream is monetized, but I haven't added any ads in. But when you join, I think you get ads. I'm procrastinating on revising my writing assignment because I spent too much time on it, and now I can't think of anything to change. Like, fair. Though I feel like thinking about something else, which this definitely counts as thinking about something else, and then, you know, it's easier to go back to it. Will Series 4 leave us on a terrible cliffhanger? No, I don't think so. Like, obviously, I will not have resolved everything. So there will be a bit, but what happens after that? But I hope that there will at least be a satisfying enough conclusion that you'll be like, okay, well, you know, we can wait a bit for the next series because Jill doesn't know what's happening yet. One of the shorts needs to end with her hanging off a cliff. Is there any bodice ripping coming up? As I have said previously, no, rip your own bodices, or rather, do not rip your own bodices. Those things are expensive and often made of several layers of fabric. Also, like, we don't do that kind of, you know, leave it for the fan fiction, you know. Caroline is very much as much as Caroline is like, oh, it's your hot shirtless enemy, Caroline is very much a fluff writer rather than a smut writer. So, you know, she desperately wants to intimate that things are happening, and Rosamund's just like, no. But, you know, we'll find out if she gets her wish, or we won't. We'll see. It was surprisingly tough. True. How many episodes per series? Roughly 12 for the next two. So there are 12 in Series 1, 12 in Series 2, and roughly 12 for Series 3 and 4. You need a P.O. box, we can send you things. Yes, but, you know, also crazy people exist, so they might send me disgusting things. Immediately climbs up the cliff easily in the next one, 7th Doctor style. Do rip your bodices, it keeps your local sewing industry afloat. Didn't realize you've been on YouTube as long as you have. Yeah, I have been here a while. is it 12 years next April? Yeah, so like 11 and a half years, something like that. It's like, if bodice removal is going to be happening, which it's, not, and this is not the sort of thing we would be doing on screen anyway, but if bodice removal theoretically were happening, you just use the laces like everyone else. There is no need to rush. And also, I don't know if you could, legitimately, I don't know with most sort of medieval style bodices, if you could actually just take two hands and tear it, unless it's made of like paper or, exceptionally fine silk, in which case, what is it? The thrifty heroine on a budget fits her bodice with Velcro. I love it. I wonder if there'll be any fan art. I don't know, but I kind of hope so. You've been on YouTube longer than some of your TikTok fans have been alive. That is true. That is true. At some point, they will figure out that I'm actually an old person, but it doesn't seem to have happened yet, even when I told them. Oh, or magnets. Yeah, see, magnets. Magnets work. Do any of you people realize the amount of layers that go into a properly constructed bodice? As you shiver with anticipation. Oh dear. Let's see. After you fell in the river, I had to grab whatever was in reach. Honestly, the laces shouldn't have been that weak. Yes. Is there an AO3 section? There is. Someone had a link to it earlier. But yes, there is fanfic. There are two fanfics, and one of them spells Rosamund's name wrong. But there are two fanfics. So fanfic exists. Fan art, as far as I can tell, does not. Finally caught up on 2 times speed. I've been watching some stuff you like. Dang. So like you are old school. It's always really nice, because when I stopped doing stuff you like, which was the original series, which I don't know how many of you have seen, but it was basically me talking about movies I like or books I like and why I like them in a hopefully entertaining way. When I stopped doing that, I had like 23,000 subscribers, and now there are 465,000 of you, which means, especially with kind of churn, the maximum number of people I would expect to still be subscribed who actually watched stuff you like is maybe 20,000, and of that I would expect a much smaller percentage of them to actually still be watching, because lots of people are subscribed to things that they no longer watch, especially when those channels change direction. But there we go. Dang it, I didn't find the comment. Okay. If anybody has the link to AO3 fanfiction to hand, that would be great to drop in the comments. I will have to approve it for you, but let's see if we can, I'm steadily reposting 1 video per day for stuff you like in the subreddit. Engagement is patchy. Yeah, it would be. It's not very good. Especially, like, okay, so I feel like it starts to get better when you hit, like, the 80s of the episodes. And as far as, like, the last time I looked, you were posting, I don't know, Firefly. So you're still in, like, the 20s. So, I mean, I appreciate the effort. But, on the other hand, I realize that it's 10 plus years old and interesting, but I'm a lot. Oh no, that was weird. It's I don't feel like my old stuff is terrible. I just feel like the new stuff is much better. So that's probably why. No bodice ripping, but shaking off your chainmail shirt at the same time. That's our couple activity. Yeah, I'm now much better at taking off the chainmail shirt. I remember like the first time I put it on and I filmed myself for the Joan of Arc video. I was like, help! But now I'm like on, off, because every time I film Rosamund in the shirt, gotta put it on, take it off. I've watched stuff you like but arrived later. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I enjoyed making it at the time, and now I'm like, oh, bless you, baby Jill. You were so young and Sweet. uh, Naive? I don't know. Something. But you know, there's some good stuff in there. Sometimes I see an old episode for some reason, or I have to look something up, and I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Well done, Past Jill. I have also watched fight analysis videos again and been like, wow, yeah, that is a really good point. I have no recollection of making it. Okay, the stream keeps blipping in and out, which is a little bit strange. Is anyone else getting that? I don't know. Let me know. Young and low resolution. Yes. Look so young, so well rested, so low resolution. Someone asked me if I put a filter on the Fantasy Heroine videos for Series 2, and I was like, no, but I got a new... like, the answer is no, but I got a new camera, and I haven't figured out how to turn... Like, I'm just running it fully automatic at the moment, because I was like, I need to get this done before half-term, and, you know, becomes a thing. So I just ran it fully automatic, and it seems to have some kind of filter on it. Did you actually have an injured shoulder? No, but a lot of people believed that I did, so clearly the acting was excellent. No, I did not injure my shoulder, but I have hurt myself enough times that I know how much it hurts when you have to do something with a limb that is painful. Oh dear. The stream is doing bad things. That's a bit unfortunate. Who's been on YouTube longer, you or Lindy Beige? I don't know, actually. Yes. Did everyone else just have a glitch? Yes. Okay. Stream is acting a bit wonky. Let's list cheeses while we wait. What were you saying about ads? Only had 3 or 4 try to play. That's weird. I didn't, hit the button. Okay. No, we've lost quite a lot of people. Is someone fiddling with your broadband connection? Hopefully not. But you know what? This probably is a sign that I should actually just, go to bed and whatever. Lloyd by 4 years. You posted the fanfic link. Oh, it's not here. It is not. Okay, let me go and find it. So, before we go, we're just going to post some more links because I think that you are just not allowed to post links. I think that's what the problem is. I think I turned on that button to stop people posting weird stuff. And, let's see. Okay. Okay. Fandom. Fancy versus the writer. Okay. Let's see. What do we got? Oh, there we go. Okay, well, I found the collection, which I think is by AHD, which has the 2 fanfics which I know about. There we go. I found an AO3 link to the tag with your name. Oh, interesting. Here's your sign. I thought it was my internet. Okay. Yes. No, we dropped from 430 people down to 30, and now we're back up to 200. So that's so strange. Anyway, clearly YouTube is look, 2.5 hours is more than long enough for one person to talk, and so stop being self-indulgent and go and do responsible adult things. So for once, I'm going to actually take YouTube's advice and do responsible adult things. So yeah, the link for the merch stuff is in there. If you buy yourself a mug, that's cool. I will know, because it sends me an email. It's like someone bought something. That's exciting. Or a sticker. I like the stickers. And I will see you. Well, you will see me tomorrow for the next episode, which I've completely forgotten what it is. They're all uploaded in a random order, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Oh, I know what happens tomorrow, and you're gonna hate me. But probably I'll put the next episode up on Saturday. There probably won't be one on Sunday, but yeah, you're gonna hate me tomorrow, but in a good way. Um, cannot hate you. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Responsible adult things with cheese, probably just like responsible adult things with, sleep. So have a lovely evening, day, or morning, and I will see you all very soon. Right. Where is the button? I'm gonna hit the button. Good night, good night, good night.